We're happy to welcome Congressional candidate Jason Roberge to the Turning Point USA conference. Jason, how are you?
Good, how are you today?
Many issues are important to the citizens of Virginia. Why don't we start by talking about taxes?
Sure, so I'm running for Congress in Virginia, 7th District, and my platform is very straightforward. One of the key hallmarks of it is there will be no new taxes, right, for the country or for the districts, right? It's any local, county taxes, against all that stuff, right? We don't want to have any higher tax rates. We already pay too much in property tax, too much in income tax, and state and federal.
What do you think about free speech today in the political climate?
So free speech is an interesting thing right now. It started off as just this back and forth in person, right, where you're just talking to someone or you're in the public square. Now free speech is all on the internet, and it's a matter of like social media platforms and being banned and not banned, and private companies are stepping in and basically blocking people from expressing their views online, which is unprecedented in the sense that it's a new trend that's been happening in the past few years. And we need to preserve free speech. It's the First Amendment in the Constitution, and it's there for a reason, because the Founding Fathers decided that this thing is pretty important. We should put it first so everyone sees it, right? If you read the first page of a book or the preface, that would be the First Amendment, right? And some people don't know what the other amendments are, but the First Amendment's the most important. That's why it's in the front.
So which social media platforms do you feel impair free speech?
Well, right now the main platforms are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which is owned by them, and those are the three primary ones. And basically what they're doing is they're coming out and they're banning conservative viewpoints, and they have the algorithms written so that if there's American flags in them, or if you're pro senior citizens or pro veterans, or any keyword they want, they can program in, and then they can have it so it screens your comments out and it makes it so your stuff isn't visible. So by doing that, they're suppressing your speech, and then ultimately they can also ban it and just disable your account, and it basically erases your digital footprint off of the earth.
What have the Republicans been doing to circumvent the restrictions put on by some social media platforms? What are the new options popping up for social media conservatives?
Sure. So there's a few new platforms that have developed, which is Telegram and Parler. Now the conservatives that have been fully banned and partially banned are shifting over to those platforms to get their message out to people. And President Trump they're trying to convince President Trump to also get on board with these new digital platforms. And they're actually very good. They're similar to like a Twitter sort of a feed, right? So you can have huge group chats, or it'll be like more of a Twitter feed sort of a look. So a couple of great platforms right there.
What makes you a leader who is different from a typical politician?
Sure. So I'm not a career politician myself. I don't, I never thought I would do this. This isn't like some family thing where my grandfather was a politician and father and so forth. But I basically saw the climate that was happening right now, the political climate. It's really volatile. No one's working together. Basically, it's just this very hostile environment where you have these two parties and they can never agree on anything. Right? And there's so many good topics out there that they can agree on, like, helping out senior citizens. I'll use that again.
Right.
Right? No one wants to not help senior citizens, and they're not working together to solve some of these problems with like the Medicare, the Medicaid, Social Security, all of these big issues. And the reality is that they could do it. It's very easy. It's just math, right? So they're not coming together. I'm an outsider, so I'm going to come in and actually get things done, because people are sick and tired of not having people actually accomplish things in Congress and Senate, everything like that. So, yeah.
What about the Second Amendment? What are your beliefs on the Second Amendment? So
the Second Amendment is, again, it's towards the front of the amendments, right, in the Bill of Rights. It's very important. It's a very defined right? The right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Right? It's an absolute right. So in Virginia, people have a decent amount of firearms. There's a lot of country land, farms, that sort of stuff, rural areas. They do not want to have their rights taken away, right? And recently in the state house, they had a big push to have more anti-gun legislation proposed for the state, on the state side. And that's just not what Virginians want, right? They want to keep their firearms and have the right to bear arms, which, I mean, most Americans do, right? There's no real downside if you're a legal, lawful firearms owner, right? There's no downside, I don't think. So.
Tell us about your experience in New York during or after Hurricane Sandy.
Sure. So I did project management on Hurricane Sandy, which was a Superstorm Sandy, which was it flooded a big portion of Long Island mainly, and Manhattan, and then a little bit on the New Jersey side. We saw the roller coasters falling into the ocean. That was the visual they kept on playing on the mainstream media channels. And so a lot of that area was devastated, and the rebuild effort I was involved in doing project management, making sure that all of the administrative staff and all the people were on target and on budget, and giving out money to everyone's contractors to repair and rebuild their houses. And I oversaw thousands and thousands and thousands of these houses get rebuilt. It was really good. And the federal government, when they do allocate billions of dollars to these programs, they can spend the money well if they have good oversight.
Yes, sounds like good work was done. Thank you for your time. And
absolutely. Thank you very much. Yep.